SRO Magazine, your #1 source for music and entertainment news and interviews. SRO.
Hello there, SRO Nation. It's your friendly journalist maniac, B-Mac, and I'm sitting here with local OC metal legends Beneath the Buried. Hey guys, why don't you say your names and what you do in the band?
Josh, play drums.
Ian, I play lead guitar.
Danny, I play lead and rhythm guitar.
Kevin, I play vocals.
And of course, we are missing the bass player also.
That's
Brian.
Brian, he plays alcoholic and
Convict.
convict.
So you could say he kind of is like a Newstead and a Burden at the same time.
He's
our
He's
the wild card.
our beast. He's our wild card.
Everybody needs one. Well, anyway, guys, thank you so much for taking some time off of your schedule. I know with the World Cup and you get in the process of recording your second album, from what I heard. How's that going?
It's going. It's we got a lot heavier, got a lot faster. Taking time writing music now instead of just going straight forward every song. I was making each song the best to our ability. I'm doing a lot more heavier vocals than what we originally did. I mean, we actually recorded a new demo that we didn't even release it. Just the fact that it wasn't our standard, and so we really took our time writing the actual music this time to make sure that everything was perfect and the best that we've ever written. So.
I did sample a couple of tracks from your first demo, 7 Feet, and I gotta tell you, it's got a real progressive metal feeling to it, because to me you kind of sounded coming off a little bit, I could be wrong, a little bit like Sully Erna almost, from Godsmack. I gotta love it. So how about...
Yeah, I get that from time to time. Yeah, I'm
And the sound is combined with like Mastodon, which I think is pretty much incredible, and I got a feeling that you guys are going to go far with your sound, and you guys could, from what I've read, you guys continue on with experimentations with different sounds. Like, what are you trying to do now? You say you're trying to play faster.
I mean, right now is like you were saying, like it's funny because when we record and we write music, we were like, oh wow, this sounds just like this band, and when we show it to somebody and when it comes out, people are like, man, that sounds just like a different band, like nothing what we were going for. So it's totally funny how things come out, like, and people, they love it or hate it. It's just, but right now I think the newest sound it's really original. It's us. I mean,
I think we have the foundation for all the bands that we kind of grew up listening to, so we all have our own different take on what we like to play. So when we combine them, there's always a little bit of unknown with what's going to come out of it. So we try to be progressive in that sense, but we're not experimental metal. We still like to be straightforward, just heavy drums, heavy guitar riffs, vocals.
Well, I can definitely vouch for the heavy drums because I've known Josh since high school, and when he was playing those cover bands, Orion and Scorch. Although I would consider Scorch to be just a little bit more original than Orion because
actually wrote our music, yeah.
Exactly. And Kyle Oliver's better than Robbie Cano, and those were different singers, by the way.
True.
But did you take what you learned from those two bands and brought it to the table here?
Yeah, that and being in a pop punk band, being in like a hair metal band going to pop punk, it's like I have a very diverse, wide range of,
like
experimenting.
Who would you say is your most biggest influence as a drummer?
Travis Barker.
Growing up, Travis Barker.
All right,
That's
this
my
interview's
roots.
over.
You had to know that. Look at my drum set.
But if anything, with that lip piercing and the style and everything, I would say your influence was probably the Rev from
Me too.
Avenged.
But Travis, I've always been more into like Blink and pop punk and punk, hip hop, ironically enough. But yeah, mostly just punk roots. And that's where I grew up.
I mean, August Burns Red too.
Yeah, that came later, but yeah.
Like there's Josh. When it was funny when we first started out, the first person I went to other than Danny was Josh. I asked Josh to join. And I was like, I knew from his background, like he can do whatever he wanted. Like he could play whatever he wanted, and if he couldn't play it, he'd learn it in 2 days and then bring it to the table. So he was already in a band not to be named. And,
don't worry about it.
Yeah, they ain't doing it.
Oh, now you gotta
so
be curious.
It doesn't matter. We'll tell you when it's all over.
We don't want it on this.
Have you guys lawsuits?
No.
No. They don't have any money. No, but yeah, I always thought Josh was the best member of that band. I mean, I think a lot of people did. And I asked him, he's really loyal. Like, he stuck with that band. He was happy. He was playing pop punk and stuff like that. And then they randomly decided to let him go for whatever reason. And he knew I was looking for a drummer and immediately called me first. And I was lucky enough to answer the phone call.
Yeah.
Well, you picked up a talented drummer, that's for sure.
It wasn't just it wasn't the talent. It was like that. That was obviously the plus, but it was just the chemistry. I mean, the friendship that we already built. You know, I knew that we could work together. I knew that it was easy to write songs with him, and knowing him for how long, putting them together, it was like
the nice part about Josh is that you never know what he's gonna do. Like, we almost have to dumb down his drums at parts because he just wants to be all over the place with fills and in different rhythms that we have to remind him sometimes, like, dude, just keep fucking time. Like, we just need something, basic right here, and he's all over the place.
Yeah,
if we let him record what he wanted to record, he'd be probably known as the best drummer in the world.
So instead of Neil Peart, you want more Bill Ward sort of stuff, right? Just simple,
So
tight.
Yeah, we want to give him the spots where he can do whatever the hell he wants, but
I mean, he still finds a way to work in his cool
Yeah.
shit in there somewhere.
Josh is. I always say this, and I'll continue to say, Josh is the best musician in this band. He's by far. He learns faster than anybody else. He contorts to whatever we want him to contort to. When we're all hard-headed, we'll just sit there and argue. So basically, but he'll sit there and be like, "All right, I like it this way," and we're like, "But we like it another way." He's like, "Okay."
All right.
Like,
we don't hate anything we write. There's a lot of compromise in this band, so we don't. Everything we write, it's like, okay, we'll give and take, but we don't hate anything. We love everything we play, so it's always good.
we stick really true to ourselves. And we don't really bend to what people want us to play as much as what we want to do.
Kind of like what Kiss did when they decided to put out a disco record.
Exactly. I mean, honestly, if we wanted to put out a pop record, we would.
Yeah.
That'll never happen.
Oh, don't. We got enough of those as it is. It's making me sick.
Let's go. Let's get some auto-tune, guys.
I could use it.
Well, recently you guys were just nominated for Best Live Band for the OC Music Awards. And for those of you who don't know, it's one of the biggest music award shows in our little city. And this is actually the second time you were nominated. The first time was for Best Metal Performance. You were actually up against Avenged Sevenfold, which I thought was pretty cool.
Yeah, that was, we took that for all that was worth.
You rode that, Tony.
I mean, when Avenged Sevenfold writes an album like Nightmare, we weren't upset by any means that we didn't take home.
they didn't even win, which is screwed up.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah,
how
it
that
was
worked out.
some other band took it home. I don't remember what the name was, but it doesn't matter.
Yeah, I don't remember the name
but either way, we were just stoked to be nominated with Avenged, especially after that album that they wrote was just phenomenal, and that changed.
Yeah,
my
Hail
outlook
to the
on
King,
music.
right?
Yeah.
No,
That was
Nightmare.
Nightmare.
That was Nightmare.
That was Nightmare?
Yeah, that
That
was.
was
2 years ago.
It was 2010.
Yeah.
That was
So,
before
they
Aryan
were
came
up
on
for
board.
it.
It was still Mark Portnoy.
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
after Nightmare, but before Hail to the King.
Yeah.
So they were still touring on Nightmare record.
What'd you guys think of Hail to the King? What'd you think of that one? It was a complete departure from Nightmare, that's for sure.
I mean,
There's give and take with it.
I'm a diehard Avenged Sevenfold fan. Like, probably, I mean, me and Ian both have Avenged Sevenfold tattoos,
Yeah.
so we're permanently
Yeah.
this band in our body. I'll support that band. I'll love that band someday I die, just because they do the same thing we do. I mean, they play what they want to play.
Well, if any consolation, Josh, they should call you, because I think you're better than that drummer that they got. No offense to him, he's all right, but I think he's too simple. It's not the right fit.
That kid can actually shred. That kid can shred. It was they went for something with this album. I think with that.
They just
that
wanted to try
old-school
more
rock and
simple,
roll.
like more
Exactly.
simple metal.
Kind of like Black Album-ish,
very Black
Megadeth a little bit. Just,
That's nothing wrong with that.
nothing wrong.
It was all right. I mean, it wasn't my cup of tea. Not what I wanted from Avenged, but that's what they want to do. And I've seen them live a couple times with this new record, and some of the songs hit so goddamn hard. It doesn't even matter. It's so much fun.
And I don't think they really gave Ari free reign to play what he wanted to play.
Kind
Especially
of like what
yeah.
Metallica did with Jason Newsted.
Right,
They
right.
give
When he
free
came
reign.
in, I think they kind of said, "This is what we want you to do. We want you to stick to the program." And I I don't think you really get to show.
It's kind of exactly
call
what we
from
do
a
with
bench
Josh.
You get a call from
Except-
a bench shuffle and they tell you to play some, you're gonna play it. You're not gonna say no.
Yeah, definitely.
And I know Aaron. He's super cool. He's a super nice guy.
And he just won best drummer from the Golden Gospels.
Oh,
That,
really?
really?
Yeah, he won.
Wasn't Matt Griner up for that?
I was about to say Matt Ryder should have won because that guy.
Yeah.
That guy's
Well,
butt
in my opinion, if anybody should have won, it should have been Brad Will for his work on Black Sabbath's 13, because they could have picked anybody and they picked him, and he did a phenomenal job.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He did a good job on that record.
But speaking of metal bands, metal is somewhat of a dying breed almost, because you got these festivals that used to promote it, like Coachella, Warped Tour, but now they're going more like alt rock, and not the good alt rock that you heard from the '90s, but like
Filters.
Alright.
Very indie. And
It's
very-
hipster music. It's hipster music.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm saying
exactly.
it right now.
Yeah.
But it seems like, that you guys are staying true to the form of metal, despite the fact that nobody really, well, let's just put it this way, nobody really is interested in signing metal backs anymore, unless they can, go a little pop on the side, like what Avenged did. But how do you respond to the fact that, that metal is dying, but you guys are able to still march and carry the flag for it? Because I think that's awesome.
Well, it's funny about that is we've had this conversation. With our band management, with fans, friends, family, each other. Can't say how many times whether we should change our sound. Do we want to do this? Do we want to do that? Should we write some more commercials? Should we just? And every single time we sit down and talk about it, all right, well, let's try to write something a little so everybody can relate to it. The songs just get heavier.
Yeah.
And and at one point we just stopped and was like, fuck it, let's just be who we are. I was like,
Kind of like
with
what Pantera did when after they recorded Vulgar Display of Power, the record company's like, oh, go for something a little more commercial, do something a little more radio friendly. They were like, fuck you, and they put out Far Beyond Driven. And it went away.
Exactly.
and
Probably
and
fucking covered.
in some ways it sucks being a metal band where we are from, just due to the fact that we can't play with anybody. The shows we go on, we don't fit with any of the bands half the time.
Like Chain Reaction, that venue I think is the worst place for a metal band to
Yeah,
be.
we'll never put
Yeah,
it.
it
We'll
will
never
be
play
true.
it again.
Yeah, it's not only that, it's just more the fact of trying to find somebody to play with. I mean, we can find bands in LA that are just trying to be the next Motley Crue or trying to be, it's just.
I've met them.
I haven't found an original metal band. We have a couple, but they're just still not our style. I mean, we played with Painted Wives.
Yeah, the closest one I think is probably bands from San Diego, because they're still kind of into the hardcore scene down there with they have Under Oath and As the Dying came out of there, so they still have probably the biggest following. I mean, Orange County is.
Yeah, it's this
It's-
is a darn place for
Yeah.
metal. I mean,
We have to work harder than any other band just to be accepted, because people have all these preconceived notions of what they think metal's going to be. And,
They just don't give our music a chance.
Yeah.
They don't even let it, I can't even explain where it comes from to them, for them to even accept it. Which is probably it's a bunch of judgmental bastards. Showing stuff. I mean, we're all the same way. I mean, we'll listen to metal, and then a pop song comes on, and we'll immediately change it. I don't give a shit what that guy had to say, but it's pop. I don't listen to pop, so it's to each his own. I mean, there's very few people out there. A lot of people say, "Oh yeah, I listen to everything." You don't listen to everything. There's things you don't like. There's things you like.
It's like
and this whole band, Josh listens to influences hip hop. Like I listen to Tupac and stuff like that. Like gangster rap. I just enjoy it.
It'll never die.
Yeah,
Tupac will never die.
Yeah.
I'm more of a Notorious B.I.G. guy. I'm sorry.
Him too.
What's side?
Yeah, but let me ask you, if you were offered a chance to sign with a label, and any label came up to you and said, "We want you guys, and just the way you are," who would you want to be with, and why?
That's a tough question.
First comes to mind.
I would take Warner Brothers.
Yeah. I would agree probably Warner Brothers.
That's a big
I've heard they give you the most freedom to do what you want on that record label as far as making your music instead of making you go to,
I think they have the most commercial appeal too.
See, that's always my dream to end up on Warner Brothers. But to be honest with me, what I want to do with this band is these are my best friends. I just want to play. I want to tour. I want to tour. Do nothing but play shows every night. And I think the label that would help us do that would be Sumerian. Sumerian right now is just they've worked their bands to every single one of those bands is on either Warped Tour mayhem. They're doing a headlining tour, and then right after that tour, they're on another tour. And like, yeah, it's tough, and you miss your family, but
just
like,
their label.
yeah,
They
it's,
take all their bands on their label and throw in their friends.
and they keep it true. I mean, they have a lot of really cool people who work with the bands that come in. Like the dudes from Kill Switch work with Asking Alexandria, that's on that label. You know, they all help out each other, and they all make guest vocals in this band, guest guitar on that band. It's really cool. Like, it's a fun label. Plus, it's local. You know, it's right here in LA, so it's an hour away from us. So we can be home at the same time as, you know, going to work every day. So it's got it. But Warner, I guess, at the end of the day, because we'd all be fairly well off. I suppose.
If I had to pick, I'd say you guys would fit perfectly with Roadrunner.
Yeah, we
Yeah,
did.
yeah.
Well,
But,
Roadrunner's a
That's what I was
subsidiary
thinking.
of
Rise.
Warner.
Yeah,
Warner Brothers owns Roadrunner.
yeah.
So I'd be happy with Roadrunner.
That's
It
like a
seems
little
like
sister
it's-
company.
Yeah, they put all their metal bands on
They're pretty
Roadrunner.
bad.
It was Slipknot on Road.
I think so, Slipknot and
Yeah. Well, you guys you've been around for what, over almost 5 years, right?
Shit, it's been fun.
4.5 years, yeah.
4.5 years.
Yeah, almost 5 years, I suppose. Yeah.
And you obviously toured a lot of the Orange County circuit and the LA circuit, the San Diego circuit as well. Have you done
A
that?
little
We
bit,
haven't
yeah.
really played down towards. That's one place we'd like to go. Play Soma down in San Diego, but I think
We played smaller venues.
I think we find bands that we fit with down there.
Well, what is the one venue that you enjoyed playing at the most? Of everything that you've done.
Last time House of Blues.
I like the House Blues LA.
Yeah.
House Blues.
LA House Blues. Their sound guys.
They're on Green Room. Felt legit.
But, I mean, this is coming from, we've played every little tiny venue to all of the cool venues in Orange County, so, I mean, it's easy to say. I don't know, I love playing slide bar, and that's just me, just because it's home to us now. Like, that's our bar. Like, we have the best turnout, we always pack that place. When the first time we were nominated for Best Live Band, we played slide bar and had it at capacity. People were pounding on the windows outside trying to get in. And that'll forever be stuck in my head as a memory. Every time I play it, I always think about that.
It's like an intimate setting too.
Yeah,
like
I
you're
mean,
right
the
up
fact
against
that
them, and you
I
can go
can-
have a beer with them right in the next room without having
Yeah,
to
the
go
fact that
back
we step
to
off the
that
stage
stage room.
and we're now in the crowd, that's the coolest thing. I mean, House Blues, what Danny was saying, House Blues LA though, I don't think we've ever sounded so good. We had
That was the best we've ever seen.
probably the best mix we've ever heard.
You ever played the Sunset strip clubs? Like the Roxy, Viper,
No.
Whiskey?
We try to stay away. We stay away from pay to play,
Yeah.
and a lot of those venues are all pay to play. I'll say it 1,000 times. When we first started, we were selling over 100 tickets and handing venues $2,000 for us to play at their venue. We wouldn't get a penny. We wouldn't get so much as a water for free. And we grew up a little bit. We learned a little bit, and that's this whole thing. It's a whole learning experience, and we refuse. We work. This is our job. At the end of the day, this is what we do. This is our talent. This is our skill, and we should be paid to do our skill. I mean, I'm not looking for millions of dollars, but I'm looking for something to compensate the cast money. You know, the broken equipment that we go through, the strings that these guys have to do. I mean, the microphones that I shatter, his cymbals that break every other day. I mean, just let alone the food of getting somewhere, staying somewhere overnight, or we don't look for much. We're not this. It's never been a get rich quick because we're getting rich real slow. We're getting poorer faster.
I think
So,
we're getting broker faster.
Yeah,
But,
I don't think I've made any money.
but it's all about just fun. Like,
I think it's a detriment for the pay to play is really a detriment to the local music scene.
It killed it. It killed
Yeah.
metal bands. We had a ton of metal bands. We had a flourishing metal bands when we first started, and we were playing everywhere. I mean, everywhere had metal bands. There some of them. They're not metal bands anymore. 'Cause they were very good, but I mean, but at least there was kids out there playing metal. Like that was the exciting thing. It was like we weren't the only ones there. Now it feels like we're the only ones in our type of genre. Like we're the only ones keeping it real heavy where we are from. And like, which is fine with me. I'm totally cool with it. I would love to see more kids, listening to Pantera. When people come up to me and ask what CFH means on the side of my arm, it drives me insane.
Well, if they give Miley Cyrus to sing Pantera, I'm pretty sure people are going to listen, unfortunately. I mean, I remember when she.
That's the day the world stops turning. Like
Yeah.
I mean, it stopped turning. It
That's
stopped
the day
turning for
metal
me
dies.
when she sang "Smells Like Teen Spirit" live in Brazil, and I was like, "Oh my God,
didn't see
shut
that.
up!"
One Direction just covered a Lamb of God song.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
know. What was that? What was that?
That's
Oh,
fucked
Yeah,
up.
it was bad.
I heard about that.
It seems like that pop music is dominating the charts and the music scene too much. That, in my opinion, is that they can sing well. I'm not going to deny their talent as singers, but you got that stupid auto
Auto-tune.
auto-tune. You got the instruments that's already plugged into the sound boards and whatever. And it's
Drum
like
machine.
it's with you guys. You play your instruments. You make mistakes, but you're like, we don't care. That's a cool mistake to make.
Yeah.
And that to me is the true definition of musicianship. And I want to know, how do you feel about the whole music scene today and how it's really become more of a
a shit
corporate
show.
money scheme than
It's not a
It
scene.
is. You're not going to make it unless you're going to sell records. Like there's no room for small bands that are starting out because they don't have the backing that some of these artists do, and they don't get the same opportunities. So I mean, we could be stuck playing Chain Reaction where somebody who is playing the backing tracks. I've seen people on stage that don't have their instruments plugged in, but they're
Yeah.
still faking like they're playing guitar, and that's just bullshit. So,
I agree.
If
If you want to lip sync, go on SNL and
Yeah.
play for Ashley Simpson.
yeah, I mean, the nice part, it's raw, and you're never going to know what you're going to get when you come out to one of our shows because we're doing it live. We're not.
We don't know what to expect.
Yeah, we don't know. We don't know how it's going to go.
Well, I haven't seen you guys live yet, but believe me, the next show you guys play, I'm definitely going to come down and check you out.
I'll go on record and say this: we are the best live metal band in Orange County. Our fans are crazier than anybody else's fans. We're crazier than every other band.
Well, may I suggest that you guys get into this one metal act that I've been following? It's called Cantation. They're a group located outside of Apple Valley, and they are killer. They have one of the biggest fan bases I've ever seen. They're just getting ready to record their next album. I'm a staunch believer. They actually just opened for Primal Fear in May.
Oh, shit. I haven't heard that
That's
name in
sweet.
forever.
Unfortunately, not many people came, especially for Primal Fear, and I hated that because I'm like, these are great acts that were coming on to play, especially the other opening acts. I mean, they actually they actually opened for Primal Fear. Like, Primal Fear came on after Cantation. So those guys carry the flag for metal as well, and, I think you guys would fit in great with those guys because, I mean, your styles would probably be a little different because they're more of a prog metal band with more mysticism into it, but I think you guys would definitely have the same kind of message.
Yeah, it's funny because, like I said, I think we're the best live metal band. It's because we're the only live metal band. Like, there's bands out there, like, we have friends in, like, a band called Haster and Stereotype that are, they're heavier. I mean, don't get me wrong. I mean, it's their own type of metal, but, and try not to be biased as much as possible here, but I think we feel like we're the real metal, like, the old school classic metal that you don't really hear anymore. And it's not saying that their bands are bad by any means. I mean, I think they're great. Haster's doing really well. Red Nine, by Stereotype, like they're great bands. But we've been searching for just another band to do what we're doing, just in their own way. And just the more we look, the more we don't find. But we do find awesome friends, like I said. All those dudes that I just named are all friends of ours.
Yeah, they're all really good.
Yeah, they're actually all killing it right now.
We just always feel like the odd man out.
Yeah, but what's funny is that's always the thing. We're always like the little redhead stepchild. Like no matter how good we do, no matter how big our shows are, no matter how crazy it gets, it's always we can't do that again because the first it's funny because you'll see like the people's fans, like the first band's fans, just like this is way too heavy for me, or this is way too loud, and just immediately to the back, like just scared to be in the front until the last couple songs we make them feel a little more comfortable. But yeah, it's
Well,
a
you'll
process.
definitely find me in the front because
Yeah.
I'm always in the face of metal.
Just beware of that last song.
Oh,
Beware.
I've heard loud, I've heard scary, and
We don't even do anything in our life. We just sit there and observe because
Yeah, it's not us.
You know,
That
speaking of scary, you guys were actually part of Rob Zombie's first annual Great American Horror Show. I mean, how was that to be on his circuit?
that was a lot of fun. We met some super cool people. Kevin Lyman was one of the judges of that, and
Dude from Falling Reverse. Too.
yeah, not Ronnie Radke, but
One of the guitarists.
the guitarist. Yeah.
Really cool guy.
But we didn't win. We came in second. But after that, the photographer came up because the winner got to play the Rob Zombie thing with the Used. The Used was playing as the headlining, and they were opening for the Used. Well, it just so happened the band that won was basically sounded like the Used. Like it was, and they were a great opener for the Used. Like there was, they're cool dudes.
Well, what did they tell us though? They said that the reason that we didn't win was because they didn't feel
We fit in
like
with the Used.
Yeah,
they didn't feel like our sound was
Complimentary.
to the Used.
Yeah.
So it
Which,
wasn't.
it made sense, and it
It
didn't
made
really.
sense, but the sad part is it wasn't based on
Who had the better
the show
Yeah.
or the songs that were written. It was more.
Plus, this was a Halloween festival, and this is not like any other Halloween festival from what I heard, because the characters actually can touch you and scare you.
They mark your head. They
Yeah.
mark your head, and if you get your head marked, you can get touched.
Yeah, that's what I'm afraid of. That's why I wouldn't go there, because I'm like, I don't need that. Nope.
But to be honest with you, like, if we would have played and opened for the Used, it probably wouldn't have went over well with the Used fans.
Yeah.
Like, so,
I think
just
we were
because
too
we're,
heavy.
like, and we refuse to mellow our set out. Like, we've tried it before, and we'll never do it again.
Yeah.
Maybe you guys should have opened for Butcher Babies. They play there.
You know, it's funny, we've gotten that a few times. We have some friends that know the Butcher Babies. I would love to. I would actually. I'd love to watch the Butcher Babies.
Yeah.
I love their sound.
I don't
I
think
love
there's.
their music.
I don't
I
think
love the
there's
way
one
they look.
guy.
They're really.
I don't think there's one guy that doesn't like to watch the Butcher Babies.
Yeah.
But
Same like there's not one guy who doesn't like to
Yeah.
watch Huntress
yeah, Huntress. What was it? Walls of Jericho too.
Yeah.
That chick.
or Hailstorm.
Lacuna Coil.
Hailstorm,
Yeah.
Lacuna Coil.
All of them.
Hell, I even. What's that other band? Amy Lee. What she do?
Evanescence.
Evanescence.
She's a little older, but I'll still watch her.
If anything, she's pretty much the starter of modern day frontmen that are actually women.
Yeah. She was the first. What was it? Late '90s. When
Yeah.
They came out with that first.
2000 actually.
2000?
And by far the coolest thing I've ever seen as it came out.
Oh,
The
yeah.
chick up there singing with a
Oh, yeah.
man
She-
was
and
probably
she
the
can-
coolest
she can
thing.
fucking
I mean, that hasn't happened.
Yeah.
That
She
hasn't
backs it
happened
up.
since Lita Ford or Doro or Wendy O. Williams.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's been a long time. I mean, '80s.
And now they're everywhere now, and I love that.
I mean, there's a stage dedicated to chick frontman. Or
Yeah.
chick frontman
Well,
at
who's the
Warped Tour
one?
this year.
Who's the one that we play with?
The Light Up the Eyes.
Light Up
Light
the
Up the
Eyes.
Eyes.
Like
They're,
a chick singer. And she.
They're actually they're on that Warp stage right now.
Really?
Yeah, they're playing that Warp stage. I checked them out yesterday. I mean, the stage is far back, so they're not getting a lot of support. But go check them out if you guys go.
She's
do
brutal,
look
man.
for them. Yeah, they're gnarly.
The sounds that come out of her, you would never think were.
Yeah, there's some of these
Fucking
chick
girl.
singers that would just crush any guy singer
Yeah.
in a lot of these bands.
Yeah, exactly.
It's
Because they got the
insane.
vocal and the pipe work
Yeah.
more. I mean, if anything, half of these chicks can outdo Rob Halford. No disrespect to the metal god himself,
It's like,
but,
whoa.
they can
Probably
kick
cut
his
that
ass.
part.
Yeah.
Some of them scream deeper than men do too.
Yeah.
And they get gnarly.
The one from Light of the Eye, that chick,
Yeah,
her
or-
scream is just
Butcher Babies
brutal.
too.
Butcher
Yeah.
Or
Babies.
Arch Enemy, for that
Yeah,
matter.
Arch
I
Enemy.
was just gonna say, I
Yeah,
didn't think
they're
it was a
all
chick. I listened to them
insane.
for like 3 months before I even knew she was a chick.
Yeah.
Had no idea.
But the
who
you know what's fun about our scene though, especially with like, is that there all these bands, and we're starting to get into this because we're making friends with everybody. Is just they all support each other. So all these bands go to each other's shows now. So it's we're starting to become more of a
A brotherhood.
yeah. It's
You
not.
wanna
And
go
that was
with-
my next
wanna go with
question. That's
community
actually my
for it.
next question. Do you feel that, today, despite the fact that metal acts don't, I'm not trying to put you guys down at all, but don't go as far into the mainstream as they used to, like in the 80s and 90s, but
Well, we're
you
gonna
guys
change all
do,
that.
do you feel like that building a kinship with each other and supporting each other is more important than making it to the big time at this point?
Like
Yeah,
everybody's goal in this band is to do this for a living. And it's nobody's way of I've said it again. It's nobody's way of getting rich. There's no getting rich in music anymore unless you're Miley Cyrus or Justin Bieber.
What's the saying? A musician is a guy who will drive 500 miles and pay earn $50 to play a show. When you spend $5,000 on equipment just to get there or something
Yeah,
like that.
it's and that's the thing. It's more of just the fact of getting to do what we love to do, and not having to go to work on a Monday morning. Like you'll never work a day in your life if you love.
For more information on all the greatest bands in rock today, and for all your music and entertainment news, you know where to go. Go to SRO. That's SROMagInc.com. SRO Magazine is sponsored by Kick-Ass Cables, PhDRadio.com, Robert's Guitar, TDLMusicGroup.com. The SRO audio and video was done by Carson Drive Studios and SROMagInc.com.